So I'll just give you a spoiler. The thing that I've found to work for me that I wasn't really doing enough of before, it's related to off angles. So I've been telling you off angling is good, high ground is good. I think I underestimated just how aggressive you can be with these off angles, and once I started really pushing my luck, honestly, that's what I've been doing, right? I'm in an elo where I thought they would punish me for a lot of things that they still aren't punishing me for, and
Hmm.
just being very aggressive with your off angles as much as you can. Basically, every single fight has been working for me. Just even if you don't kill them, making multiple people turn. Sometimes I'll even be on like flanks, like flanks. I'm behind the entire enemy team.
Hmm.
Sometimes you'll get 2 to 3 people chasing after you, and then your team gets a free win. So
Right.
obviously, we'll still be looking at cooldown usage, and we talked about micro positioning last time. We'll be talking about stuff like that. But honestly,
Definitely.
I think what I've been doing in a lot of my VOD reviews in the last couple of weeks is just talking about where's this? Okay, we're red team, right? It's just angles every single fight. It's more important than I thought it was. So we've already talked about it, but like even like myself starting out on this map when I'm playing soldier, I'm running to here first. Like this is going to be the first place I run to before I
Yeah.
even
Okay.
know what their team comp is. Because I've just found that like a lot of the times your team gets stuck right in either one of these chokes, whichever one they go to.
Yeah.
Or what I assume you're gonna do is you're probably gonna go here. I don't know yet. We'll find out. But you're probably gonna go here to try and take an off angle. But it's gonna be too easy for them to just play here, right? And you're still in front of them, right?
Hmm.
Still usually easy to mitigate that. Whereas when you're here, a lot harder to deal with. It's a less effective angle. I understand that like damage fall off is a thing, but it's just being in a different field of view of them, making them turn their head, making them turn their attention has been working. So
Yeah. 100%.
we get the Mercy Pocket this game, very nice. We're right already. Already, right? We're directly in front of them. So you haven't like necessarily made a mistake, okay? But you've noticed, and you can kind of feel it when this happens. I mean, your team has made advancements on a point, cool. But when you're kind of directly in front of them and they're directly in front of you, you're going to be at a disadvantage a lot of the time. Your character doesn't really like to fight somebody head on,
Yeah.
especially if the tank's in the vicinity. So I'll point this out in much more obvious examples. This is something that's happening right now, but a lot of the times you're going to notice mid game. You've probably noticed this before, where you're shooting things, but you feel like you're not doing anything, right? Like,
Oh yeah. A
right.
lot of the time.
Every single time I get that feeling, I'm not exaggerating a tiny bit. Every time I get the feeling that although I'm shooting something, nothing's happening, I'll just run to a different angle.
Yeah.
Like,
Take.
I'll just
Yeah. Right.
forget about what I'm doing and just find a different place to start shooting from, okay?
Yep.
I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this 1v1 real quick. There's the deflect. Oh, beautiful. So no cooldowns. It should be pretty free once he uses his cooldowns. Nice. That's probably my least favorite matchup besides maybe Tracer's the Genji 1v1. I think we've talked about it
Yep.
before, but
Yes.
um,
Definitely. I agree. My two most hated
I know it
matchups.
sucks, dude. 1v1 in a Genji's not fun.
No.
I think you dealt with it pretty well. A lot of the time, turning your back to him is going to be um, fatal when they get better,
Hmm.
right? Because they kind of just hit 3 shurikens on you completely for free. Luckily, it didn't happen here. You got around covered. You got to the mini, which is great. But if what they do here, when he used his deflect before he dashed on you, I'm probably just gonna take that more aggressive fight since he doesn't have his deflect and try and get the helix right after he dashes. Whereas running away, I don't want him to get free shots onto my back while I'm
Okay.
trying to get to cover or a help back. Because maybe if that Genji's a little bit better, he kills you. You dealt with it though, and that's just a tough matchup that you're gonna have to. Ideally, you don't take the 1v1, but right, that was the beginning of the
Right.
match, and you were on a short, small angle, which is what Genji likes. So
Right.
this is another time where being more aggressive is going to benefit you. So again, you didn't make a mistake here. Like, there's no mistake that you've made. I'm simply telling you this. The more uptime you can get, you are very fast. You go in and out very quickly. The more uptime you can get, if you can find angles on these people, even going like deeper here, trying to get this angle to poke, get your ult faster, put more pressure on them when they're weak, right? When they don't have their whole team is going to be something you should be doing. Obviously, you want to be careful if your team's not on the same page and not following up with you. But a lot of the time, like getting that extra damage in between fights, or when they're walking out of the spawn doors, you shoot a helix and then run away. Extra 3, 4, 5% ult charge 3 different times before an ult, and suddenly you're the first one in the match to have your ult, right? And start making a bigger impact. So uptime and just more aggressive angles is. I'm going to be looking at that a lot this VOD.
Okay.
So this is okay, all good. Let's just brainstorm. What would have happened if we can push up on this flank angle a little bit more, right? A little more aggressive here. When they all start to walk in, what if we come around this side and start pestering them from here, right? We still have pretty good cover. We have the ability to 1v1 a Cassidy with our heal pad and our helix. And that's worst case scenario. Cassidy turns around, you fight a 1v1, maybe you lose, maybe not. That's not even a committal 1v1, right? You don't have to commit to that fight. You can just poke them out and run away. So you take the attention of 1 DPS at least, right? Now, even better, what happens if the Moira also turns around? Because she's already healing the Cassidy. She's aware that he needs help. What if you start shooting him? She's going to maybe she'll realize that he needs help, right? Now you've got 2 people paying attention to you. Now you're winning. You don't have to get a kill at all. All you have to do is, occupy them and live and run away, right? So this is exactly the type of thing where it feels scary. Let's go back to what you were seeing, right? We get a couple shots off, and then we realize they're kind of using cover and disappearing on us. And we go back to our like safer, more normal or more standard angle. Whereas I honestly think just pushing here is going to be better most of the time. Or even here, like this one's good. If you try and push and you're too late, right? You're not trying to go here.
Yeah.
But like this is such a powerful thing, Obviously right now it's not because they're on the gateway, but they're eventually going to want to walk past this gateway. And you've got this, right? I mean, this is beautiful. We love this. So, all right. This is, not bad, but it's just, you're not really going to be as effective here.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that you're tanked that early, right? Nothing you can really do about that, but... I should have got a replay code of my own in order to show you after, just like certain fights of what I mean, but... Right, are we on an off angle right now?
No.
No, why not? Like, what makes an off angle an off angle?
Putting pressure on a separate part of the map from your team.
Right, and usually...
Pinching them, basically.
Right. Usually a separate part of the map from your tank is going to be even better. So a lot of the times, like this is a really good point to prove this example. It doesn't matter if your tank comes in from this doorway or this doorway, right? If you're on the opposite doorway, so if your tank is here and you're here, you are still not on an off angle, okay?
Right.
You're still,
okay.
If you are this Reinhardt, this is one threat. I mean, it's a little annoying, right? But it's all one threat. Eventually, you're all going to end up coming through here. Okay, one angle. Whereas this, I mean, this is becoming a flank again, but a flank is also an off angle, and you're not rotating here mid-fight. I'm not telling you to rotate here mid-fight. But like last fight, when they were coming up this staircase, this is an off angle, right? You're no longer on the same line that your tank is on. You're no longer on the same angle. And every time you're on the same angle as your tank, just get a different one. There's a couple exceptions to that, but unless like this, like if their Rhine shield is broken, and you could just kind of sit here and shoot them for free, sure, go for it. But this happens when you're on main. You're stacked up with your team. You're going to get hit by their abilities. You're going to take more damage. I was reviewing a Sojourn earlier today who was having the same problem. They were on main, and they got 5-orbed by Zen. And they're like, why am I dead? Is this just unlucky? I got hit by 5-orb. It's like, well, no, you're standing with the rest of your team. They're going to send all their abilities down this one line. You just shouldn't be here, right? Looks like we're winning this just by... Well, I don't know. We're winning, though. This is better. Probably could have even stayed on that longer. I know Cass started shooting at us, but... I really do think you just limit testing. Do you know what I mean when I say limit testing?
Yeah, yeah.
Really put yourself out there a couple games and see like how much can I get away with, except that, you know, maybe you'll die a couple times in situations where you normally wouldn't die. But I think you'll be really surprised at just how much you can do and how much they're not gonna punish you for mistakes that you'd think you'd get punished for. And then of course take advantage of those when they happen. I do need to say, actually, let's watch this fight. There's a lot going on here. This is a good angle. Target priority, maybe not perfect, but not sure it's going to be the difference between winning or losing that fight. I do want to say what I was getting at is that Flashpoint, usually the points are a lot, yuck. The points are very symmetrical, or in fact they're perfectly symmetrical, right? And so a lot of these points are going to have, like, let's use this one's a great example. You really have two off angles here. If the team's fighting in the middle, you're either on the left or on the right. You know, there's not like a whole lot of nuance to it. So you just have to either go left or go right when your tank goes middle, or if your tank goes left, you can go middle or right, or if your tank goes right, etc. When you're on a non-mirrored map, so you're on an escort or a hybrid, you can get a lot more creative with it. So on a map like Dorado or on a map like Shambali, that's when you can really, I think, get creative with your off angles and where you're going. Whereas on these, you kind of have like 2 or 3 set options that you're going to want to play from, and just figure out which one of those works best for you in most situations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Overstay a little bit. I'm not really that worried about that one. Oh, hello. Yeah, get aggressive. Get up there. Yep. Good chase. Alright. Back like 15-ish. I don't think there's a whole lot more we're really doing here. No, we won't worry about this one. It is a little unfortunate. We're dying kind of before we can make a contribution. But sometimes it's just going to happen, and you're just going to have to keep contributing as much as you can until it's over. And if you lose the fight, use it. Like last time was a perfect example. Oh no.
Yeah, this was the stupid mistake.
yeah. Last fight you were on, like, this was a great angle last fight because they just couldn't pay attention to you. They had to fight on point or whatever it was. And you just got to shoot into their backs for free. That's when mechanics come in. But usually mechanics is not going to be the issue. Like right now, obviously this is not your mechanics. This is like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think I just panicked because it was overtime and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I need to try and do something to get this point.
Yeah.
I think I just didn't really analyze the situation well enough.
Alright, where's the point we need to be attacking? Why does the replay not show me?
It's on the
Is
other
it this
side, I'm
one?
pretty sure.
Oh, it's the other side of the
No.
map? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll
I think so.
dictate where you're going. You just want to be annoying right now. You're not committing to any fights, but you're just kind of like staying at the edge of their range and kind of making sure they know about you. Or you can honestly just run to the next point and just forget about this. It's totally up to you. I like to be annoying for ult, but you can honestly just leave this completely if you want.
Yeah, I usually just try and run straight to the next point.
Yep. Not a terrible idea.
But they kind of have this awkward angle on me, so I had to like take this weird route to get there.
Yep. Your team's already on point. This is one of the worst points on this map for off angling. You really don't get a lot of options here. And there are maps I felt in the last while of playing Soldier, right now that I'm actually playing the character, there are maps that I just prefer to play other characters on. Obviously, I'm not telling you to switch, but like some maps, you're either gonna have to get creative, and by creative I mean flank, or you're just going to have to play on main and hope that whatever you're contributing is enough, and understand that like other characters contribute better for main, but you don't really have another option, right?
Yeah.
Like where are you off angling on this point? You can maybe try and do like one of these once they push in a little farther, but then do you have an escape route if they push you? Maybe you can get here, maybe not. You're not
Yeah,
rotating
it's
around
rough.
to here, right? This is kind of
No.
too far. And so if you watch soldier players who stream in higher elo, sometimes they will sit behind their tank, and that's usually because there's no good off angle to take, not because they decided it would be better to be on main. And this point's going to be one of those where you kind of just do your best with what you're working with. We're too passive this fight. Again, it doesn't matter. There's been a couple fights in a row where your input doesn't really matter here. We're losing no matter what. But we spend a lot of time like soft repositioning where I feel like we're kind of... Let me find an example. I mean, it's not going to be that difficult. It just happened. This is fine. We cage fight, and then instead of going back to shooting here, we like start going somewhere else. Like, I'm not sure why this happened on first point. I think once. It's like maybe we're worried about the Reaper, but we hear that we cage fight. We're still 5v5, right? And we need to be shooting at something, or maybe using a heal pad here. Anything except spending 2 or 3 seconds trying to figure out what we want to do, right? Maybe you see something I don't, but...
No, I think I was just trying to space from the Reaper. That was it.
Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to win that fight no matter what, but...
I'll try to repay the favor.
System compromised.
And this fight, I really would like to see you go whichever way your tank doesn't go. So I know it feels uncomfortable with them having a hog. But this is, like at this point, you're not defending the point anymore. You're attacking the point, right? When you're defending the point, you kind of have to play... You don't know which way they're going to come. So you can't really get behind... Like, if they come through this way, you don't really have a good option to get behind them. But now you're attacking. You know that they're going to be on point, roughly. You know that your tank is going to go whichever way he decides to go. Let's find which way. He goes up here, right? And so once I see my tank going here, I'm running this way. And of course, you have to play around the hog hook. The last thing you can do is get picked out early. But you're good enough to not run into the LOS of a hog who has hook. You're good enough to jiggle the corner, bait it out, or wait for your team to engage, right? And then pop up here. Isn't this a great line of sight when your team is going to be fighting them here, right?
Yeah.
Imagine they try and take deeper cover into the point, right? Where can you can keep moving here and just keep getting a deeper and deeper angle. Or if they're standing like on this cover trying to contest you here, you're taking up multiple people's attention, and guess what? Look who they're open to now, right? Look what LOS your team has on them. So
I think, I actually think that this... I think I'm recognizing a bigger problem here than actually what you're saying, and it's that I'm not paying attention to what my tank is doing. I think I have like preset ideas of where the off angles on the map are, and I'm playing around the map. But
okay,
doesn't
there's an
really
easy
matter.
way to rewire this in your head. It's super easy. Your off angle, instead of thinking about where the off angle on the map is, the off angle literally, I mean literally, is where your tank is not. That's the off angle.
Yeah.
So instead of, you're like, I want to go to an off angle, and you go to what you already know of as an off angle. When you say I want to go to an off angle, your first check is where's my tank? Because if I'm with my tank, I'm not on an off angle. And then your second check is what options do I have for where my tank is not? And let's use this example again. We'll be real quick. Our first check, where's our tank? Our tank's in main, okay? What are our off angles? Left and right. Those are literally all of my options. I can't go anywhere else. You could flank, but again, we're not... flanking is good, by the way. I'm going to hopefully get to that at some point this review. But right now, we're just talking about lefts and rights. If left is your preconceived notion of an off angle, because that's probably what most people think of on this point, right? This is a good high ground. It's generally not a bad idea to be on this high ground. if your tank comes up left and your whole team comes up left, even if this is like an off angle, right? Isn't it easy for their team to just dedicate all of their resources up here somehow? Maybe they rotate back around and contest. Maybe they use the fountain, or maybe they use this pillar, right? Any of those options I just listed, they go back around and recontest, they use the fountain, or they use the pillar. If you're standing here, you're in a better situation to fight them in all three situations, no matter what they try and do, right? Or if you're here, you have much better vision on everything that they're doing, okay? So instead of thinking, where's the off angle on the map, think, where's my tank and what other options do I have besides where he's going?
Yeah.
I really like your angle here. They're like stuffing you on the staircase, and so it's really hard for you to get there.
Yeah.
And also your Mercy comes with you, which is good, but your Ana leaves your Mauga? Maybe she was just never there? Okay, she was just never there. But your play would be really good if your Mauga had support and the timing was a little better where you came around and they were still actually in a spot for you to do something. There still could be a chance. Like, you're still on a good angle, right? You're still shooting them from behind here.
Right.
Gotta be careful of the hooks soon. Your tank is dead because he had no support. That was a good idea, though. I really like the idea.
Yeah, I think I was experiencing that feeling we were talking about before, where it's like,
Yep.
I'm sitting here shooting, but nothing is happening, so I gotta
Yep.
go somewhere else.
I don't think we'll even get another touch on this point, will we? Oh, we might. And I had a tank game I played. I played Roadhog. We were on Nubani first point attack, right? I'm playing Roadhog. My team is, I think it was like a plat game because it was a new account, right? So I'm still placing the account, trying to get to an actual elo.
Okay.
And I had like 2 hit scans and then some combination of supports that wasn't Kiriko, which is fine. Okay, I don't need the Kiriko. I'm getting somewhere with this, but I started the game. I walked main, so the bottom. I just walked up the road, tried to hit a hook, tried to get someone off the high ground. Right? What happens? All 4 of my teammates follow with me, like right behind me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We get 5-man antied. There's no cleanse. We lose the fight. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Happens. Next time I try and go up the little, like the underground route. So it has the mega in it. It comes out
Right.
on the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
My entire team follows me again, right? And this point, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to work, guys. Before I even go out the door, I just turn around and I walk away. And I go to a different angle. I try and go up to the high ground this time. And my team follows me. And at this point, I literally type in chat, like, guys, I know I'm the tank, but you can't follow me, right? Supports, you're not going to heal me after I get antied anyways. Nothing against you, but you're not really going to help me. I can kind of do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And DPS, you're playing hit scan. I need you to just stand somewhere else. I think this was in voice chat because obviously this is a lot of talking. And I was polite about it. I was like, one of you can go main, one of you can go high ground. Doesn't really matter. Just spread out. Give me 10 seconds to make some space for you guys. All right. And then you'll see what an off angle does. And so I went under. My soldier went on main and my Ashe pushed high ground. And when I went under, the people who were on top where my Ashe was going to go dropped on me, and I get into that back little hallway where you can like get to the far high ground, right? Where you set up.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And by this point, I have 2 or 3 people chasing after me. My soldier now in main gets to stand on the point for free. My Ashe gets the high ground and gets a free Ana kill. And it's all because we're not on the same angle. It's because instead of thinking about like what's an off angle, where's my team going, I told my team, you need to think about where's my tank and how can I get a different perspective on the fight than what my tank's seen? Because when people follow me, you get to shoot them in the back, or you get the free point when I'm in, in this situation, I was off angling, not my team. But it's the same exact idea I want you to think about in your games. If you are taking attention in one space, then there's free attention or what's not a good word? Attention's not a good word, but like they're no longer looking at the space that you want to take, or there's open areas for you to capitalize on the map, and you just have to look for them and find them, and it's based on where your team is and where the enemy team is.
Right.
But that might be a good code. I might even have to show you. Probably not. There's probably a better one of me actually playing soldier. But let's focus on this fight a little bit. I went on a long tangent. That was supposed to be 30 seconds, and it was 4 minutes.
Oh, good.
Okay. What am I gonna say here? You know it.
I'm not off angling.
Yeah, and what's your like defense to not off angling right now? I know you have one. Well, like what's in the back? Why are you not off angling? I know you have a reason.
I don't know where they're coming from.
Okay, that wasn't the reason I was thinking of, but fair enough. Fair enough. You don't know where they're coming from. What is something we can do to rectify that situation of not knowing where they're coming from? Is there a way we can figure out where they're coming from without being at risk of getting in trouble?
Well, I don't know. Clearly, the answer is by not standing here.
Okay. What I'm getting here, yes, we're not on off angle, and I don't like it. Okay, right? We figured that out already. We figured that out last point. What we can do is we can take. So if we know where their spawn is, I hope you know where their spawn is. There's like a big red mark on the screen when a point captures. You can assume they're going to come from that way, or if you lost the last point, they're going to come from wherever way the point is, right? And so it's either going to be this way, or it's going to be this way. You can stand far enough away that you can figure out where they're coming from. So you can either stand here and try and check this pillar, try and check through here, and once you hear them or see them over there, you rotate into an off angle, right? Because you being here, we've talked about this 100 times. I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. But it's not only the fact that you can't really do a lot here, okay? Because, I mean, that's one of the two problems. The other problem is that they can focus all of their attention here, which makes it even harder for your tank to do anything now, right? Even though their DPS are off angling and doing good things. But if we're on a different angle, they can no longer, you know, give this much attention to one area, and we can do more from that space. So I was going to say go up here. This is obviously not a good option right now. But you would know this if you start from here, you see them walk, and you see 2 DPS come over here, you can reposition, you can look for something else.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I was up there to begin with, they would never have been able to take that space anyway.
Yeah. That's very dependent on who's up there and
Right.
you're knowing your 1v1s and which ones you should be able to win and which ones you shouldn't be able to win. But hell, that happened in stream today. I was the same Sojourn review I was telling you about earlier. He had the same problem. One of the casts, or in one of the fights, cast flank high newed his team, and he's like, "There's nothing I could have done about this, right? Like this cast actually just flanked and got a really good high noon. I called it out. My whole team died. Like, what do I do?" Because he lived the high noon, and he's like, "I don't understand." You just challenge the angle that the cast is trying to take before he can get there and do anything with it. Maybe you win the 1v1, maybe you don't, right? But denying the enemy's off angles is as important as having your own, right? I mean, that's part of the game, recognizing that you've been in a game before where the enemy DPS was on a very oppressive high ground and you just couldn't walk forward, and they were just, I mean, like it just felt like nothing you did mattered, right? Denying that is as important as being on your own high ground and doing something important.
Yeah.
Your tank is dead, and there's nothing you can do about it.
They must not take the objective.
Yikes. At this point, I'm leaving. Yep. We don't have kill potential on Hog here. We've already got our ult. Maybe we can try and pick a DPS, but you're really just not trying to stagger here. How do you feel about the Reaper 1v1? What do you think about it? Maybe we've talked about it, maybe we haven't. I'm not sure.
Well, it obviously depends how far away you are from him.
Yeah, that's like the most important part of this entire 1v1. Yeah.
Yeah, at right now on the screen, I'm basically dying 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, he is pretty low. Maybe if I but my Helix is on cooldown, like I'm probably dying to him. So it sort of depends. If he gets the drop on me, it's pretty much over. I mean,
I treat the Reaper 1v1 like I treat the Genji 1v1. If I can keep him at medium range, I farm him 100% of the time. If I can't keep him at medium range, I get farmed 100% of the time. There's like not
Yeah,
really a good in
totally.
between there. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
as long as you have a good understanding that I don't fight this guy at close, like if you see him teleporting to you, right? Instead of trying to hit a couple bullets on him before he teleports, I literally just turn around and run away. Like I'm just
Yeah.
not fighting you if you're near me, okay? So just
Yeah.
understanding
100%.
that is good.
Biotics deployed.
Small things, very small thing. Right here, is anybody looking at us?
No.
What is something we can do when nobody's looking at us to improve our accuracy?
Stand still.
Literally stand still and just only focus on hitting them, okay? Because when you have a movement input, it obviously is going to make it harder for you to be accurate when you're aiming, because you have to not only account for their movement, but you have to account for your movement now. So small thing, but like if you're on an angle like this and no one's looking at you, you can literally just stand still. So
I do actually. Well, maybe it's worth adding. I don't know how. I know it's important no matter the input you use, but I do feel like on controller in particular, I use my movement a lot to aid my aim. I know that's like kind of something you're supposed to do. I don't
yeah,
think I'm really doing it here. I think I'm just habitually strafing while I'm shooting.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, so like even in like a case like this, you think it's probably still just better to kind of stand still.
Yeah, so movement aiming is what you're talking about. That's a big part of aiming. And usually you do that by matching the strafe of whoever you're fighting, right? So if they're moving to the left, you're
Hmm.
also trying to move to the left so that you have minimal crosshair input.
Hmm.
That is more effective medium to close range.
Okay.
When you get to long range, your input is obviously going to have a much bigger impact on where your crosshair is compared to their input, right? So let's get them on screen. If this Moira spends half a second walking to the right, how far on your screen is she going to move? Not that
Not very
far,
much.
right?
Yeah.
And as they get farther, this effect gets more and more prolonged or more pronounced. The farther they get from you, the less their input is going to move them on your screen, whereas your input is always going to move your crosshair a set amount. So when they're in medium to close range, you moving is going to have a bigger impact on your aim rather than when you're far away. It's small adjustments, and you don't want to mess that up by. I mean, it's a small thing, but you do want to maximize your mechanics as much as you can. So,
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
oh boy, I don't want to see yet. Let's talk about it. How do you feel about the ult before we watch it? I know you know what happens, but just like in principle, in general, before we know the results, what would you say you think about this ult?
Where's my team? Can we? Okay. I feel like it's. I see all of the squishies, and they can break line of sight easily, so that part is not good. But I do think the intent is pretty good. I think I'm putting a lot of pressure on them by popping visor, and they sort of have to run into my team to hide. So
Yep.
that's good. Hog is too close for comfort, though. That's not good.
Right.
I can sort of corral their team into the point and then go where the Ana is. Well, it's not a great angle for me because it's a pretty closed hallway, but it's like I don't know. It's like good and bad, I guess. It's like okay. It's okay.
I think the intent is good. Okay. So as you keep climbing, you'll experience less and less kills with visor. You've already probably felt this where it's getting pretty hard to kill people. You still can, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but it's getting a lot more difficult. And you can now use it, like you said, to create a lot of pressure. So visor is very good. When you visor, they have to pay attention to you. They can no longer ignore you on this off angle. And what you're doing is you're pushing these DPS into your tank. That is good, okay? I don't know if you're doing that on purpose or not, but that's something that you really like to do. So if
Yeah.
they have good cover here, and you're on this off angle and you don't have aimbot, your aim might not be good enough to force them out of cover. They might be able to turn around and shoot you back, and you kind of have to trade whatever. They can keep their cover. Not all the time, but sometimes. When you have aimbot on this angle, they no longer can turn around and fight you here. They have to find different cover.
Yeah.
And this is not cover for them. They are fighting a tank. The reason it's not as good as it should be is because they're playing Reaper, and pushing the Reaper into the Mauga is not as advantageous as you might want it to be, right?
Right. I
He's
see.
probably the best character dealing with the Mauga in close range. So that sucks. We don't like that. But if this was like a soldier and basically any other DPS besides Reaper, I mean, I can't name a single one that would be worst case here. This would be great, right? Imagine being a Mauga with an Ana pocket, shooting at a soldier and like a Cassidy right here, or shooting at a soldier and literally name your choice of DPS, right? It'd be pretty good. I like it. I like the ult. Maybe there's a better way to use it, but I think like when you find any situation that you think you can get good value from it, either taking the enemies completely out of cover for one of your teammates or getting a kill yourself, I think it's good. Yeah, the hog is an issue, but that's not really a coaching moment. He's on your screen. You know where he is. You just have to deal with it. So
Yeah.
hopefully that hook doesn't hit you. We're about to find out though. Ooh. Oh, what is that? Nice. Man, if the Nano was on the Mauga, you probably win that fight. You did good here. You did really good here. Not panicking when the Reaper's ulting you is going to be extremely important on Soldier. And even like if you ever get into the realm of like clicking hit scan DPS, so if you're on Ashe or Cassidy, the type that can do really big headshot damage, you can like 2 or 3 shot him through his ult. You just have to make sure, like you do more DPS than he does if you hit headshots. You just have to not panic and run away.
Yeah, I figured
So
that
that was
since I was
good.
nanoed, the DR would keep me alive, so I could
Yeah.
probably just fight him.
Yeah, it was good. No, it was a good. I mean, this whole fight for you has been pretty good. Obviously, you got a little lucky that you were out of hook range here. But aside from that, I liked your visor. I liked your reposition. You can't really push this hog, right? And you're not gonna take this. This is too long, too far. So everything so far has been good this fight. Oh hell no! Nice. Yep. No, keep shooting him. Keep shooting him. Where are you going? All right. Why do I say keep shooting the hog right there? Normally we don't spam the tank, right? We want to shoot the squishies. Why am I telling you to shoot the hog?
He's basically in our team.
Not only
So
that,
good.
right? Not only that, your whole team is, and by your whole team I mean your Mauga. But your Mauga's putting a ton of pressure on this guy.
Yeah.
Enough pressure that there's a like you can actually kill this hog. Usually hog is not a very killable character. But you said it. He's in your team, and your tank, who is the best tank at shooting the hog, is shooting the hog, right? Help him out a little bit. You walk up here, you reload, you walk forward, you finish the kill with him. Now, luckily, your Mauga gets the kill on his own with the damage boost. That's a missed opportunity. This is a much less fun 1v1 to have. Dispatched. Nice. Alright, let's get through this point. Get onto a point that hopefully has better off angles. Honestly, Suravas is just not a great map for Soldier, except for that one yellow point. I like that one, but every other point I hate.
Yeah. Yeah,
What could
like
we
you
be
were
doing
saying-
right now?
Oh, we could definitely be off angling. 100%.
Which one? Which off angle?
I think. Ooh, I guess that's kind of hard because Mauga is sort of holding the choke.
He is.
But-
The choke is not an off angle. You have 2 options. You're either going on the right or you're going on the left.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably. I like the left better, I think.
Yeah, you just tried the right, didn't you? And what happened? Sigma stuffed his shield in your face, and that wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't very fun.
Left is a much more open sight line. It's a little easier.
Yeah, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not getting a kill here, but what does happen, right? They're either going to use cooldowns on you, and by either, I mean they are going to use cooldowns on you, which is a good thing, right? We want them to use cooldowns on us because that's cooldowns that aren't on the rest of our team, and we're better than the rest of our team. We can handle the cooldowns, theoretically. Or, and by or I mean and, they're going to walk through this choke so that they don't get shot in the back anymore, because being shot in the back is not very fun. And when they walk through the choke, they find a Mauga and a Hanzo, and hopefully an Ononade in the face, right? So, you were saying something before I cut you off. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, we were talking, or you were mentioning earlier about how like sometimes the map just isn't very good for Soldier, and I've honestly because I literally, I mean, almost entirely play him.
Yep.
It's like wearing on me a little bit, especially as I've climbed higher.
Yep.
It's just like starting to feel like, man, I like maybe need to learn other characters, because like
Yep.
there's no denying that as of right now, I would be way better off playing Soldier than any other DPS, but there's also no denying that like sometimes I really like it doesn't matter what I do. I just can't. Like I need to be Genji or I need to be Sombra or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've
I
been
would
thinking about
say
that.
I would say you can get by with only a hit scan pool. So you don't need to have a it's nice to have a flanker in your back pocket, okay? Don't get me wrong. But you can get by. I think the 3 characters that would like round out, by 3 including Soldier, the 3 characters that like I have basically the same hero pool as you on DPS right now. Is Soldier. Like you saw my profile, okay? It's Soldier, and then the next one is at 6 hours versus 20, okay?
Right.
But Soldier, Cassidy, and then Sojourn, those would be your 3 characters. And I think those cover every situation I could ever want to be in, except for like maybe they're running super hard dive on Gibraltar. And then it's like, okay, maybe I want to have a different character. But like 99% of situations will be covered by those 3 characters. And you don't need to learn someone radically different, like a Genji or a Tracer or a Sombra who takes hundreds of hours to, get the mastery over. Whereas switching to a Cassidy is an easy transition for you. Switching to a Sojourn is an easy transition for you. But if you don't want to do that, which is fine, the way to make Soldier work on maps that don't have off angles is flanking. And I haven't explicitly gone out and said that yet. But when you don't have a good off angle and you still want to play this character, so I don't know what a good example of a point would be for this, but I'm sure there are some. Let's just use this one. Let's say for whatever reason they're stuffing you on this left angle and your Hanzo's on the right angle already. What you would do here is pre-fight, you would set up like here, okay? And you'd hide and you'd wait. And then once the fight starts going, you'd figure out your timing and you'd peek out from right here and you'd start spraying on them.
Okay.
Right? Imagine you're the enemy, either the Moira or the Soldier or the Bastion or the Weaver, and you're standing here about to go fight on point, and a Soldier starts shooting you from that archway, right?
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck?
What do you do? Okay, like what do you do about that, right? It's like
Yeah.
It's you don't have a good answer. You're like, do I chase him? Probably not, right? He's Soldier, okay? I'm not gonna catch up to him. And I might not even win the 1v1. I could chase him and then go die, right? That's not good. So they're like, okay, I'm probably just going to ignore him because I don't really know what to do about it. That's not my problem. That's my teammate's problem, right? They walk forward. The fight happens. You come to here now. You see that no one's here. You hop down and you quite literally just start peeking here until you find somebody and start shooting them. And then if you get 1 DPS to turn around, you've already evened out your value, okay?
Right.
And that is the least valuable thing you could do is have 1 DPS turnaround. If you get any combination of 2 people to turn around, we're already in the positive. If you get 1 support to turn around, you're already positive, right?
Yep.
And then the difficult part is like are you good enough to survive? Are you good enough to get a kill? Can you do it multiple times in one match without getting, shut down by people who have a brain?
Right.
But if you're in a match and you just feel like nothing you're doing is working, like nothing at all, act like you're a Tracer on Soldier and just like here. We'll go through this replay. Remind me after this replay. I have a clip I need to show you of me doing exactly that, where I was like getting stuck and I was like, shit, I need to I need to make something work. I literally ran into their spawn and had multiple people chase me in high diamond. And then my team just got a free point win because of it. So I'll show you that.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's part of limit testing. We're not only taking more aggressive off angles. One more example real quick. Let me zoom over to the other side of the map. Remember when you went here, right?
Yeah.
This is a flank.
Yep.
Because the enemy has nowhere to retreat to. The enemy wants to retreat and you're here. They either kill you or they have nowhere to go. Like that's all, those are the only options you give them. And so this was good. This is like, and this is really good because you have a good escape. Okay. You're not at danger of dying here. That's ideal. Sometimes you won't even get that, but, like you've shown that you've done it before. You just need to figure out which situations it's appropriate in and all that good fun stuff. Yeah.
So I just need to do it a bunch and die a lot to figure out when and when not to do it.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even think it'll take you that long because I was playing Soldier similar to you. I was probably a little bit worse than you at Soldier when we started doing these coaching sessions. So I understood how to play him, you know, and I understand every character pretty well, but I couldn't really make it work and I didn't know what was happening, right? And I'm like, I know how to use off angles. I know how to use my cooldowns. I'm not wasting my heal. I'm using my Helix a lot. And I couldn't understand why I wasn't winning my games. And then I had a DPS friend of mine, not even a coach, okay? Just like a mid-masters DPS player who's pretty good at the game. He's never tried to coach before. I had him look over one of my VODs. I was like, I don't need a review. I just need you to tell me like why you think I can't get out of low diamond or high plat. And he's like, well, you're on off angles, but you're just too safe and you're too passive all the time. And you're never a threat to the enemy team. Like you're peppering them, you're pestering them. You end the game with really high damage numbers and your limbs look good because every time your team wins a fight for you, you get, you know, a portion of every kill. So my stats looked fine. I was on off angles, but he's like, try and like actually be aggressive and take an angle that they're not expecting, that they're not ready for, and see what happens. And literally it took me maybe 10 games of figuring that out. And you saw my win rate. It was even higher when, you know, when I was playing in low diamond. I was at like a 68% win rate over 60 games. And I was like, okay, this is probably the, you know, I made one change to my game. That's all it took. So for you, I think it's going to be pretty similar because you've been at this diamond level for a while, right? Like this isn't a new elo to you. Whereas I'm just now getting to high diamond and it's still pretty free to me to climb right now. It's obviously getting harder as people play more Sojourn and shoot me in the face more, but
yeah.
Right, like this isn't anything. We're not doing anything here.
I'm at the height of my performance.
Still not doing anything. It feels like we're doing something, but we're not. Or maybe it doesn't even feel like we're doing something. Okay, the ult might be something. But look how easy it is for them to just like, right?
Yeah.
You could have used the ult and all 5 of them could have been standing here. And then by the time you're able to shoot your first shot, they're all in cover. Like that's the kind of positioning we're in. What if we were here right now?
I was just thinking. I was just thinking back. Oh man, we were just talking about how I could have started up there on that off angle, and imagine if I was still there. And,
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and if guess what? If we started on the left here and we were shooting them here, and then we rotate back to here,
yeah,
and then we use this for cover, and then they either push us, which gives our team a nice angle, and we can always retreat. We're Soldier, or they push the same way, and now we're literally just sitting here shooting on their back line for free the entire time, which they probably wouldn't have let you do. They probably would have pushed you out of here, but then your team would have been set up better. So quite literally every single fight, on and off angle, experimenting with what you're doing, where you're playing, how aggressive do they let you be. Oh, that's so unfortunate.
I think I just felt safe because I thought Mercy was on me. I don't think.
Yeah.
Was, though.
Yeah. No, I understand. He had some nice shots on you. Obviously we could have played cover a little bit better, but I would have also been pushing up here to try and get use out of my visor.
Yeah.
And the whole thing could have been avoided by just using it from a better spot in the first place, right?
Right. Yep.
There's nothing else to that.
I am fully
Yay, we didn't come back on main. This is good. Nice.
focus our attack on the objective.
Oh yeah, I agree. Too hard for the Bastion.
Oh boy.
I think I thought, like, since the point finished and I thought he was the only one left, that his team would spawn, like, somewhere else.
Yeah.
Player was still there.
You probably would have been fine if you had just been quicker about what you were doing. I know it was in 1.5 XP, but there was a lot of times where you kind of like slow walked around a corner because you had vision on him at the end of the corner, so you'd stop sprinting to get the to get a shot off. If you had just kept sprinting and gotten a more concrete angle where you could shoot more than one time before he left, you would have got to him before he got his tank form.
I see.
But I mean, that's a small mistake. You're still here at the start of the fight, right? What's the issue with here right now?
I'm basically face tanking half their team.
Yeah, true. I'm honestly not. I don't think you're like at risk of dying here because your team is right behind you. This is the same issue we have every other point, is that we're directly in front of their tank. And I know that the point has just started. I know that you're probably hopefully gonna rotate. But why not just start in a better position? I mean, you just ran straight here, but we don't do anything if we're sitting in front of a tank because the entire tank category is built to mitigate damage and take space. And we don't like that. We don't want that, right? So I wasn't worried about you dying there. I had no doubt you were going to live, but this is good. This is good. You got to be careful with it, but it's good. Beautiful. Are they looking at you right now?
Nope.
So that's good. Could we be a little bit more? I mean, we feel like we're like non-committal. We're like, I want to be in a relationship with doing damage on the off angle, but I also don't want to die. What should I do? And like we just like back out a little bit here and there, and then come back a second later. Yeah. Really maximize, how much you're doing on these angles. You put yourself in a great position. Take advantage of it, right? Reap the fruits of your labor, or whatever they want to say.
Yeah, I get in my own head too much. I just get so scared. I'm like, oh man, I can't like make one mistake or we're gonna lose the game. So I'm like playing so timid. But the reality is that playing that way is the mistake.
Right. Like these players are not concerned about you.
Yeah.
They're concerned about this guy. Okay, well he's starting to shoot at you, but you're fine. Okay, you have your heal. You're on the off angle. You're not gonna get one shot by anything, right? Take advantage of it. Go crazy. Get in there. Yep. Good. All right, this is still fine. We've noticed that their Sigma is going to push the angle we're on. What do we want to do about it? There's two options here. I like one better than the other. But try and get creative. The option is not stay here and fight him, okay? You have two options. Yeah. What are they? Can you identify either one of them?
I think so. The first one would be to like run through the point and retake the same angle on the right that I was at before.
Correct.
Since I know Sigma's going to push in, that's pretty free. Alternatively, I could go to the left and flank.
True. What if the Sigma is going to push through your angle, right? Which and you know that he has roughly, I mean, it's less than 14 seconds. I don't know how fast the flashpoint ticks, but it's more than once per second. You know that he is going to be on the objective in less than 14 seconds, right? Mm-hmm. What might that It means he can. Okay, I don't know how to ask a question, so I'm just going to tell you what I'm thinking. He cannot sit here and fight you in this little room. He cannot chase you through this little area down here. He is going to walk up here, and he is going to walk here. Okay. What would be a really inconvenient place to start getting shot from when he's contesting the point from here? Where would he really not want to get shot from if he's standing here fighting on the point?
In his back, which is where I'm pretty much at right now.
In his back. Yeah, he does not want to get shot in the back from here, okay? He doesn't have the resources to deal with that. He can't do that with multiple angles. So you can just chill, relax, figure out how many people, like if his entire team comes with him, you're going to need to be a lot more careful, right? But you're on an angle, you're already going to be on an off angle. Your tank is going to be here. And now this is a scary one, so you're going to have to be careful with it. But you can just walk back a little bit or walk, try and take cover through here, figure out who's running up with him, and then you're behind them already, okay?
Yeah.
He can't sit here and fight you. And if he does, he's throwing the point for his team. Oh, so sad. It happens. It's so sad, though. You're in such a good angle. Yeah.
I didn't even see her.
I know. I didn't either.
I wish Mara had audio. Just I hate that you can't hear her jetpack.
Same with Echo, dude. If they're high enough up,
Yeah.
you can't hear a single thing.
Yeah.
And that sucks because you did everything right. Whatever. Deaths like those happen. I mean, the thing you can do about deaths, wow, English. What you can do about that is really just like pressing tab and like knowing they have a Pharah. And that's
Right.
that's a habit thing. That's not a skill thing. Like you just have to build up that reflex of like pressing tab and making sure that you know what they're swapping to every fight. And then once you know they have a Pharah, you're a little more aware. Maybe she
Right.
still gets the kill on you, but you're at least like looking up and seeing if there's a Pharah flying towards you. Maybe you're not even thinking she's above you, but you're like seeing if she's like coming up through here or something. I don't know. And you happen to see her in your field of view. But
Yeah, that's
I
something we
mean,
talked about before.
right, that
about pressing
happens.
tab.
Yeah. Oh no, we're on an off angle. Stay on the off angle. No. Yay. Except we have a lot of downtime now because we had to make this big rotation when we could have just
Right.
already been shooting them. But yeah, hey, you figured it out. We're also getting a nice little nanovisor here, so hopefully we don't go flying off the edge of the map. Nice. Tragic.
Yep.
Absolutely tragic. So tell me what happened. I know you know. Tell me like what happened on this angle that forced us out.
Sigma got nanoed and I overextended to try and put pressure on him.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about you overextending. Honestly, get the whole like overextending and dying idea out of your mind. You're pretty good at not dying, okay? In fact, you're too passive sometimes. And it's holding you back from taking these more aggressive angles that you're scared of dying on, right? So forget overextending for now. Maybe we'll come back to it in the future. Maybe not. But you're up here. Did you notice who else on your team was up here with you? You had a teammate over here.
Ram?
No, Ram was on the point.
Oh.
Just
I-
list your
I
teammates.
don't
You'll figure it out. It's in the kill feed.
Ana? I don't even have an Ana. Oh, I
It's-
do have an Ana.
It's Hanzo.
Mercy?
Hanzo was up here
Oh,
with you.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go back and show you. Okay. Why is Sigma able to just walk up here and take the space from you? It's not a rhetorical question, right? He is nanoed. He has cooldowns to deal with people from one angle, right? You and your Hanzo are stacked on the same angle, and your tank and supports are on a different angle. And so, how do I say this? There's not an elegant way to say this. I don't like ever being on the same angle as my second DPS, period, ever. Even when we're on a good off angle, there are times where I will give up my off angle to go find a different one than my teammate, even if it's worse. Because if I'm right here and my Hanzo's right here and my Ramatra's right here, someone's going to be able to shoot the Sigma or the backline or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sigma cannot use this grasp and deny both of you. He cannot use this shield and deny both of you. He cannot rock, you know. So this is again another fight, probably third, fourth, fifth, sixth fight this map where we just needed to be somewhere else the entire time. We didn't make a mistake when we were on our angle. Okay. Once you get up here, there is no misplay. You get a double kill with Visor. You go to take a more aggressive angle to keep shooting people. Good. Still good. Sigma, a character with cooldowns specifically made to deny DPS on the off angle, uses his cooldowns to deny DPS on the off angle. Okay? That's not your fault. This is him doing his job. You did not make a mistake here. And then you get punished for it. Not for your mistake. You get punished because they're doing their job, right? That's not your fault. And so that's why you're going to lose this, is because he's able to do something like that. You just need to be here. That's all there is to it. Okay. And that's the end of the game, isn't it?
Okay.
Maybe
can
a
I-
stall? Go ahead. Yeah, you have something to say. Go ahead.
Could I possibly have known that Hanzo was gonna join me on that angle though? Like I don't really have any control over that.
No, you don't have control over that. That's not your fault. But you definitely know he's not going to join you on this one. And again, I'm not
I guess
blaming
I'm
you
just
for this
saying I
fight
don't
loss.
know
I'm
if
just-
I would know that.
Fair
I
point.
mean,
Just take it
I mean,
instead of taking it
guess
as a
maybe
you made a
in
mistake.
sense.
Just don't take it as a I'm pointing out your mistake. Point it as a in the future, if I recognize that I'm on an off angle with the same DPS, I'm gonna move.
Okay.
Like here, man, I wish I organized my replay codes better. There's now 50 replay codes in your recents. I don't know if you've noticed. And so I'm probably not going to be able to go back and find it. I had a game,
God.
I had a push game very recently, probably yesterday, where I was in almost this exact situation. I mean, quite literally, it was push. It was the very last fight, and I'm on some off angle, and my other DPS is on the same off angle. And in overtime, I literally run behind their entire team because I don't want to be shooting from the same place that my teammate is shooting. And it worked out perfectly because both supports turned around and shot me, and then their tank just fell over, right?
Mhm.
And he just died. And it didn't even matter, okay? Like, I did not have to get a kill on these people. I just had to exist for about 5 seconds, and then my team won the game. Like, that's all it was. I ran behind them, I existed for 5 seconds, and my team won.
Right.
So, you know, maybe that was an option. I know that one's a lot harder to see. Flanking is not really in your like book of plays you can make right now, is it? Like, it's not really, you never considered running to the right here. That was never a
No,
thing you
not
considered.
once. No, I would never consider that.
Right. I wouldn't have ever considered that either until about 2 weeks ago. And I've started doing it and it started working. So again, not really your fault, but it sucks to just be told like that's not your fault. There's nothing you could have done. Go next game. Okay, there was something you could have done. You were already on a good angle and you just kind of abandoned it for no reason.
Right.
And then while you made the rotation to a good angle, this is a good angle, it was too easy for them to deny you. Even like, let's imagine, so Sigma walked up here and denied you this angle. Imagine he does the same exact thing over here and comes and gets you over here. I need to watch this fight back. I might be making a bad point right now. Why do we not ever push their backline after you die here? What does our Ramatra do? Follow the Sigma probably? Oh, their backline follows. Okay, never mind. My point is null. I was like, it should open up the backline for your team.
Yeah.
Obviously never happens because their backline is in your backline right now. Oh, you get res? Holy shit, we have more to talk about. I didn't realize. Let's talk. Let's watch. Did you get rocked out of Helix? Where did your first Helix go? Oh, you did, didn't you?
Thanks. Thanks.
Oh, it hit her.
It hit
Nice.
Diana.
We're down 2 right now, though. And this, there's not a whole lot to do in this fight, I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, I'm not worried about anything that happened after the res. I'm honestly not even that worried about what happened the fight before, the fight that lost you the game, the one with the Nano and Sigma. You got 2 with Nano Visor on the off angle. Maybe you could have done a little bit more. But Sigma is a character that is made to deny people from doing things on off angles. So not too worried about it, okay?
Yeah.
But there's probably 4 different fights in that game that were like specifically we stood either on main or slightly off main and did almost nothing. And then probably 3 more fights where our tank went in and died before we could even set up and we just lost.
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm at the point where I'm not even worried about your ability usage. Your cooldown usage is like solid, like very solid. Like it's no longer holding you back in any way. And your aim is just what your aim is going to be. And the only tips I can give you are the things like standing still when no one's looking at you, or using your movement, or practicing. I don't know, right? Those aren't really that helpful. So we're just worried about how aggressive can we be? How aggressive are they going to let us be? Let me show you the clip that I was talking about.
Okay.
It was on Havana. Hopefully it's still in here somewhere. Gotta make sure. Not this one. Oh, if it expired, I'm gonna be so sad. No. Okay, it's gone. Unfortunate.
Aw.
Yeah, describing it to you is just not gonna be the same, so. I showed it on stream. I could technically pull up my stream bot and find it, but that might take like 3 minutes.
If you
I'm
want, you
gonna
could
find
always
it. I feel like
just-
it's valuable,
Okay.
honestly.
Okay.
I really do feel like it's valuable to show you this. I'm sharing my Overwatch on my screen, so you can take like a 3-minute hydrate break or whatever you want to do while I pull this up, or you can just sit here and chill. This
Yeah,
won't
I'm
come out of
chilling.
your time, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Twitch. And then I'll share this with you once I find it in here somewhere.
Okay.
But this was a really good example just for like my chat to see. And it just happens to apply like really well to your specific situation.
Okay. Congrats on top 80, by the way. That's wild.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been working on my support a lot, so finally starting to get to a point where I can be like, I'm actually like a top 500 player. I'm no longer just like a fringe, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not. Like,
Yeah. That's super cool.
and the craziest part is like I'm still like 3 levels below the people at the top of the ladder. Like it's like I get
Yeah.
into a game with like a top 50 or top 30 or a top 20 player and I can feel the difference. Like I don't
Ye-
feel comfortable in any of those lobbies at all. So
Right. The increase in the skill gap as you climb is so
it
insane.
is crazy. I feel like I have another couple of years before I get to that point and I'm already in the top
Right.
500. Yeah. So all right. Making it through this eventually. We'll get it. I'm gonna show you 2 things from my stream. I know it's a lot, but I will show you. There was
Let's do it.
it's gonna be the clip I talked to you about the Sojourn who had the cast flank and it was like couldn't do anything about it, right? Couldn't no way to counter this high noon behind my team. And literally a minute before the cast flanked, I was like, what if we took this left off angle on Shambhali's second point? You'll see. I'll just
Yeah.
let you watch instead of describing it. What is... It's in here somewhere, eventually. Oh, I think I found it. Let me get to the exact spot. Okay. Let me share my screen with you again. Share. This should have audio. The quality is also going to be a little less than usual. It's like 960p and whatever. But as long as you can see it and you can hear it, that's all that matters, all right?
Okay.
So just for context, I am on attack. First point Havana. This is a high diamond match. This is diamond 2, maybe diamond 1 average lobby, all right? So these are real players. They know how to play the game. They're not great, they're not perfect, but right, I'm not playing NPCs in bronze.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then I'm just gonna let my stream self do the talking. It's like 2, maybe 3 minutes long, okay?
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go up. Okay. Never mind. So my team just lost this fight.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's like
High
actually
diamond on
funny.
PC. High diamond on PC, by the way. I'm not even like as my stream self said, I'm quite literally not shooting a bullet at them in their spawn. I am running around their spawn like I'm doing Lucio parkour or something. Like I can't even explain to you. A Sigma follows me back into their spawn. And I won't make you watch the rest of the fight. I think I ramble on a lot here, but they eventually come back. They get a touch, right? But I'm now completely behind them. All 5 of them went to fight, and I walk out of this door. I visor behind them, get 2, and not even me getting 2 isn't even winning. The fact that 3 people turned around when I visored, and I'm on an angle that they just can't deal with, and the fact like my team just got so much space, so much like attention away from them, that we just won this fight for free just by me running behind. So this is kind of something I want you to experiment with a little bit and see if you can make it work in your own games. It clearly works in mine. So hopefully it'll still work in yours, but getting creative with it, right? You can even do that mid fight. I obviously did that in between fights, but doing that wherever you can, whatever you want to do with that. And that is really a trial and error thing. Flanking is so situational, right? There is no rule to flanking. I cannot tell you when a good flank is. You're just going to have to work with it and figure it out on your own. All right.